Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live pop-up chat. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. We have had some breaking news that I was not expecting, and I don't really think it's actually sunk in yet. I mean, I've had about half an hour to digest the news. So, I'm going to be reading the announcement again. I'm sure by now you all will have known what it is, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching this back on catch up. But I do want to try and make sense of the news that Harry and Meghan are indeed moving not just house from Kensington Palace to Frogmore Cottage, but they are moving household, which means staff and offices, to Buckingham Palace, not actually Frogmore. So, I'll talk a little bit about why I think that is. I'll talk a little bit, well, I will try and dissect it. So, yes, bear with me while I go through it. I actually had 2 pages of other notes that I was going to go through today in my live pop-up chat, but we'll get to that at the end because this is, of course, the biggest story. So, I want to start with the actual statement, which says, the Queen has agreed to the creation of a new household for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, following their marriage in May last year. The household, which will be created with the support of the Queen and the Prince of Wales, will be established in the spring. The Duke of Sussex currently has his own private office, which has been supporting the Duchess since their engagement of their Royal Highnesses in November 2017. This long-planned move will ensure that permanent support arrangements for the Duke and Duchess's work are in place as they start their family and move to their official residence at Frogmore Cottage. The Queen has given permission for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to base their household office at Buckingham Palace. Their Royal Highnesses will appoint new communication staff who will form part of the Buckingham Palace communications team and report to the Queen's Communications Secretary, Donald McCabe. Kensington Palace will continue to support their Royal Highnesses until that team is in place. So, there we have it. That is the official statement. Now, I actually looked. It's not at the moment on the Buckingham Palace Royal website. And just before I came on air, it hadn't been announced on Twitter or any other social media. So, that could change in the near future. So, if you're watching this on catch up, it may already have been announced on the Palace website and on social medias. It may have now whilst I'm live, I don't know. If it has, someone tell me. But what I'm reading from is actually a press release statement. So this was released to the press. I think the one thing that's really important to remember, first off, is that this is not a knee-jerk reaction thing. This will have been in the planning for a very, very, very long time. Now let's cast our mind back to, I don't know, it must be 4 months, 5 months, maybe even 6 months. There were rumours in the press. People were saying that there was going to be a household split. And this household split rumours were starting round about the same time as all the royal feud nonsense. Now, I'm going to say straight away, I do not think that this confirms any feud business going on. Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why I think this is perfectly normal in a moment. But it turns out that some of the royal reporters who may have had proper inside information were actually correct. Now, the reason why I say that is because, like I said, this will not have been a knee-jerk reaction. This will have taken a lot of planning. And for a royal reporter who may have contacts, they may have found out that this was happening. You know, this is a major change. Lots of people will have been involved. Lots of people may equal loose tongues. So the information of, that this was going to happen probably, well, we now know it did actually leak out. Now, this is where I think people, and myself included, were a little bit confused because when the palace announced that Harry and Meghan were going to move house to Frogmore Cottage, when they were having the renovation done, they did say that the offices would remain at Kensington Palace. But I now know what they meant by that. What they actually meant by that, I'm thinking, is that the offices, the shared offices, the joint offices for the Royal Foundation will remain at Kensington Palace. And that's what I think is staying at Kensington Palace. So, not everything is moving lock, stock and barrel to Buckingham Palace. What I think is staying at Kensington Palace is all the work and the team around the Royal Foundation. So, William, Catherine, Harry and Meghan are still going to be the Royal Foundation, but those offices are going to be based at Kensington Palace. That is what I am thinking now. So, what is moving to Buckingham Palace is their own personal private offices for their own personal endeavours. So all the work they do with William and Catherine for the Royal Foundation is still going ahead under Kensington Palace. But the work for their own private endeavours is going ahead at Buckingham Palace. Another important point is it has the support of the Queen and the Prince of Wales. So I think it's very much, seeing that the Prince of Wales is mentioned quite specifically, I think it's gearing up for when Charles is either Prince Regent or King. So I think it's kind of preempting a few things. Yes, it would technically be cheaper to keep everything at Kensington Palace for now as shared. However, even as shared, you would still probably need, new staff. And this statement does confirm that new staff is being appointed, because obviously, Prince Harry is now full-time working royal, Meghan is a full-time working royal. There's a lot of engagements that need planning, a lot of communications. It specifically mentions that they will appoint a new communication staff. There is a lot going on, so I think that need has facilitated these changes. And like I said, I think these changes have been in the making for a very, very long time. Now, it does also mention, obviously, spring. Now, going back to the whole Frogmore Cottage move thing, I still don't think Frogmore Cottage is ready. Of course, Baby is nearly ready. So I think this is likely to carry on. Well, this is likely to start up, I suppose, once they have actually moved to Frogmore Cottage. And again, we have no further information if they have or not, but if we cast our mind back to some of the royal reporters, some of the official royal reporters were saying that Harry and Meghan were going to move in a few weeks. And that was like over a month ago now, maybe even more. That hasn't happened. So I'm still sticking with what I say, that Frogmore Cottage isn't ready yet. I really hope it will be for when Baby is born, but I don't think it is. So as this statement confirms, they will still be supported up until that point at Kensington Palace by the Kensington Palace staff and communications team. There was something else I wanted to talk about as well. Yes, it does actually specify that this is a long planned move, which again is probably why that information did actually leak out. The Queen has given permission for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to base their household office at Buckingham Palace. Now, this is why I think that there is no feud going on. This does not confirm any feud, far from it. It's basically in the same vein as the Queen's other children. They have offices based at Kensington Palace, based at Buckingham Palace as working royals, full-time working royals. So Harry is just moving in line with what the Queen's children are doing. So obviously preempting when Charles is either Prince Regent or King, Harry would have offices in the same vein as the Queen's children based at Buckingham Palace. So that's why I think this has happened and why the offices haven't been based anywhere else. That makes perfect sense. Now, what is likely to happen is once the changes and the move has been made, any Harry and Meghan updates on their work that is non-Royal Foundation based will actually switch, I'm anticipating, to the Royal Family Twitter, the Royal Family Instagram. They will leave the social media of Kensington Palace, and I think that's what that will mean. So just like Princess Anne's social media updates, the Duke of York's, the Wessexes, it will the Queen's cousins, all of that information will be updated to the Buckingham Palace Royal Family one, and any Instagrams, and of course on Facebook. So you will not get Harry and Meghan updates, official updates, on the Kensington Palace website websites, social medias, unless it is for the Royal Foundation. That is what I am anticipating. And it does also make a kind of a special point of saying when they move to their official residence. So that to me is hinting at there may be still more than one residence. Because if you've got an official residence, that kind of indicates that it might not be your only residence. So I think a little bit of a hint was slipped in there, hinting that they will have a country property maybe, or a second property at some point. Again, no hint on that, but that's what I'm kind of gleaning from that anyway. So again, it's really, really good that this has all been done with the consent, obviously, of the Queen, who would have to. Their Royal Highnesses will appoint new communications staff who will form part of the Buckingham Palace communications team and report to the Queen's communications secretary. So, very much all under the Buckingham Palace umbrella, but obviously confirming that new staff will be appointed to deal with all the extra heavy workload that is going on. And as I said, Kensington Palace will continue to support their Royal Highnesses until that team is in place. So, at the moment, it isn't actually in place. It's getting there under a long-planned move. Now, I want to see what people obviously are saying about all of this. Like I say, you know, I haven't had a whole load of time for this to sink in. You know, it is quite a big change. So I want to see what everyone else has got to say. So I'm hoping there's some really good comments. I know there will be, because that is, of course, one of my favourite parts of this. By the way, how many do we have in the room? 470 something, my goodness. Okay, lots of people saying hello. Veronica says it's a huge shift. It is indeed an incredibly huge shift going on. Kimberly says, I'm extremely happy about this. There we go. Arnold says there will always be the crowd that thinks Harry should stay under William's thumb forever. Well, I mean, eventually they will kind of realign, because once William is king, his offices will be based at Buckingham Palace, and therefore Harry's will also be based at Buckingham Palace. So, you know, it will come full circle. I think this is just a technicality. It's following form. So there will be a reunition. No, I can't think of the word. Anyway, you know what I mean. They will come together. A reunification. There will be a reunification. That's what I was trying to say. Eventually, when William is king, anyway. Fortune says, I love the fact that Harry and Meghan will get their own household staff at Buckingham Palace, and it makes sense as Harry already has support staff there to help him in his new role. In Your Face says, I personally feel that Kensington Palace didn't do anything to protect Meghan from the abuse that has been happening for the last 2 years. We all have our personal views. I mean, will Buckingham Palace make any extra moves to protect? I very much doubt it. But there is new communication staff, so we don't know how the new communication staff are going to respond to these stories, especially fake stories that are coming through. So we'll have to wait and see with bated breath how that is handled. Fabulous says, hello, glad to have you back, glad to see the nasty troll comments being removed. We are definitely trying. Ava says, does this mean that if they have late events, they will stay at Buckingham Palace? Possibly. They will possibly have maybe some accommodation at Buckingham Palace. Although I have also thought, seeing as they've got the big Frogmore house next door to Frogmore Cottage, it may be more convenient to hold, you know, some functions at Frogmore House. And then obviously they've only got to trot back to Frogmore Cottage. So we'll see. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But yes, they will probably be using the function rooms for big major events at Buckingham Palace. I think you might be right there. Fortune says, I'm over the moon with this wonderful news that they'll have their own staff to support them in their roles as President and Vice President of everything of the Commonwealth Trust, yes. And so much to be done and so much yet to do. I would agree with that there. Michael says, I have noticed Australian news outlets are harsh on Meghan. What's up with their media? I have no idea. Well, Kimberly, we don't know if they are moving in March. I personally think it will be after baby is born. Okay. Ajiwaz, I hope I said that correctly, says, hello from Accra in Ghana. Duke and Duchess of Sussex is supported by the Queen is exactly what we need. Congrats on their new offices at Buckingham Palace. Okay, sorry if I've missed a few. Rhonda says the Duke and Duchess may also be getting larger roles as working royals. Possibly sounds like the royal family is preparing for the future. I think that's what we're seeing. I think we're seeing a new shift to align everything so that everything's in place for when there is a change. Whether that change is that Prince Charles becomes Prince Regent, or whether, you know, anything happens to the Queen and we get King Charles. Vivian says, I cannot tell you how much I admire your intelligence. You are superbly a gentleman. Oh, thank you so much. You get. I'm going to give you a fan flap for that. Flattery will get you everywhere. I'm just trying to apply some logic to this situation. Right, Lauren says, any truth that the Duchess has gone on maternity leave? Well, that was one of the things I was going to come on and do as part of my pop-up chat. So, again, we have nothing confirmed that Meghan is on maternity leave. It is, again, just speculation. And I think I found out where the speculation has come from. So I went on the Buckingham Palace official calendar to check if there was any engagements announced, and there wasn't. I also went on their Twitter to see if there was any upcoming engagements announced. There are some for Harry, which I'll tell you later, but there was none for Meghan. So I think what they've done is they've put two and two together and gone, well, she's 8 months pregnant, it's coming up to maternity, there's no engagements announced, therefore she must be on maternity. Wrong. There very well could be extra engagements. Just because there is no engagements announced on the royal family website, hey, they don't always put them on there. They really don't. I've checked, and actually, the Kensington Palace engagements for William and Catherine and Harry and Meghan aren't often on there. They are on the court circular, which records the events and engagements after they've happened, but upcoming ones on the calendar are not frequently put on the royal calendar on the official royal website. So that doesn't ring alarm bells to me. It's normal. The fact that Kensington Palace hasn't put out any engagements on Twitter, again, that's normal. Sometimes they don't announce the engagements, you know, perhaps a week or even a few days before the actual engagement. So again, that doesn't, you know, it doesn't ring alarm bells. I still think we could see engagements for Meghan announced up till April. Well, the end of March. I'm thinking her maternity might start the end of March. So I don't think we've seen the last of Meghan yet. I still think we may see her. And anyway, this all came from Vanity Fair, who have got things drastically wrong in recent history. And they said that they were told by who? That the Commonwealth Day service was the last official engagement, but she will continue to take private meetings. I mean, again, unless we have anything confirmed, I would take all of that with a pinch of salt, to be quite honest. Like I say, I've checked the calendars. There are no engagements announced, but I think we may see her pop up for a few engagements in between now and the end of March. But I definitely think, you know, by the end of March, early April, I think we will see a maternity leave. I need to work on some merch. I know you want some. Okay, and I think I've just skipped all my questions. Oh, thank you. Congratulations on my 77,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. So sorry, I probably missed loads of your comments because it skipped all the way down to the bottom. Yes, this is my birthday peridot Scottish brooch. Okay. Let me go down and try and catch up with people. Cindy says, "Oh my God, straighten out Frogmore." I mean, it's probably not far off, but I just don't think it's ready. I hope it's ready. I really do. But I don't think it is. But we'll see. Pat says, "Thank you for updating us. Glad to hear the Sussexes. Good news. I guess they will move into their new home soon. I imagine soon, but I don't think just yet." Do you think the Queen will give baby Sussex the title? My personal feeling is that I don't think she will. I think she'll just let the natural order play out, which is that once Charles is king, baby Sussex will get HRH and Prince or Princess anyway. So I don't think she'll change it. She might. She still might. I might be surprised. I might be wrong. But I think she'll just let things play out and let the natural order take effect. There have been many royals that, if you look, for example, on Wikipedia on the titles of different royals, they have undergone different title changes from birth up until their final title as adult. So it wouldn't be anything negative towards Harry and Meghan or baby Sussex if the Queen didn't grant the titles. It would just be letting things play out in the natural order as they have done for many, many, many other royals in the family before baby Sussex. So it wouldn't be anything against baby Sussex if the Queen doesn't. Hoorah if she does, but I just don't think she will. Edgy Was says, "Do you have a hint of what sex the baby is?" No, I don't. Although I'm thinking girl. But I don't know. I don't know. Jeannie says, "Does Kensington Palace only put out announcements on Twitter?" I think they also put some out on Instagram occasionally, I think. But usually royal family engagements are on the royal family website, but they don't tend to do it for William and Catherine anymore, or Harry and Meghan. You just don't see them. I mean, if you put in their names and a date search, nothing comes up. But they do announce them on Twitter. Yes, Frogmore Cottage is where Harry and Meghan will be living. That's what's being renovated. Frogmore House is the big house where they had the wedding reception. That's not where they're living. Betsy Gerard says, "Thank you for your insight. I think this move is also good for the Cambridges. They are destined for different roles." Again, it sets things up for when William is Prince of Wales. It just means they can go about their own private, individual, day-to-day engagements without, interfering with each other. It doesn't mean there's a feud. We all saw the rather lovely display of friendship and warmness between Catherine and Meghan at the Commonwealth Day service. So I don't think there's anything underhand going on at all. Stephanie says, "What have I missed? Harry and Meghan have got a new household at Buckingham Palace. By household, I mean offices." Pamela says, "They are all grown-ups now. This move sets the pattern for the future. I'm sure that it is a comfort to the Queen." I think so too. Okay, let's just skip down a little bit again. Annette says, "I also saw one site said she definitely was delivering at the Lindo Wing. Have you heard that?" I haven't heard any definites. I've always thought the Lindo Wing is most likely because I think baby will be born wherever Meghan is close to. And like I say, I don't think Frogmore Cottage will be ready. Therefore, it's likely they're going to be based in London still. I mean, that's what this statement kind of says, because it says that the move isn't ready yet. It kind of confirms that it's not ready. If you read it, I mean, let me go back to it. I'll find the bit where I think it confirms it. Where are we? Here we go. It says, "This long-planned move will ensure that permanent support arrangements for the Duke and Duchess's work are in place as they start their family and move to their official residence at Frogmore Cottage." So it says that it's going to happen when they move. But it also says, "Kensington Palace will continue to support their Royal Highnesses until the team is in place." So, it's not ready yet, which kind of means to me that she's likely to still be based in London, which indicates the Lindo wing probably, or yeah, I think I'm going to opt for the Lindo wing, but we have no official confirmation on that yet. Netheta Pre says, Meghan is a workaholic. I do not see her taking a long maternity leave. I think she will be doing private engagements up until the birth, more than likely. And I think she will return soon after. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I definitely think she'll be a busy bee while she's on maternity. She will not. She doesn't seem like the sort that to let the grass grow under her feet. So I think she'll be a busy bee working behind the scenes on projects to possibly announce to the world perhaps in September or October, which is when I think she may return from maternity, around about September, October. But I think she'll be a busy bee behind the scenes setting things up, just like she was with the Together Community Cookbook, because we didn't know anything about that, but she'd been making private visits. She'd been working hard behind the scenes. So I think we'll see, well, we won't see, but I think she'll be doing lots of private work behind the scenes, possibly for a return September, October. Don't forget, the maternity kind of coincides with the summer, which the royals tend to have off anyway. We may see Meghan at Trooping the Colour, for example. Maybe she'll come out on the balcony. Very doubtful that she'll bring baby Sussex, but we may see Meghan out and about for some set-piece events like Trooping the Colour. But in terms of back to work, I'm still thinking September, October. Hello to Eve in Barbados. Hello to you. PJR says it's called a booth brooch. Look it up online. My Scottish husband gave me one at our engagement. That is what it is used for. 2 hearts entwined with a crown. Oh, I think it might be them. Look. Yes, I think it might be. Pat says, I wonder why some people are so obsessed with a title for baby Sussex. Why does this matter? Well, baby Sussex will have a title. It just won't be a HRH or a prince or princess unless the Queen bestows one or issues letters patent to change the rules. Mrs. Bitsen says, Duchess Meghan had 2 meetings, one on the 3rd, or rather the 12th, and one on the 13th. She's a busy bee. She is indeed. Okay, I'm just kind of skipping through a little bit. Okay. There were other things I wanted to talk about really quickly before we had all this new major announcements. The Duke of York, Prince Andrew, has become royal patron of the Outward Bound Trust. Now, he's taken over from the Duke of Edinburgh, his father, who has been the chair, who has been the royal patron since 1953, which is actually 65 years. So it's a big thing for Prince Andrew. But Prince Andrew has been chair of the trustees since 1999, so he has been heavily involved. So congratulations to Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, who has taken over from his father of the Outward Bound Trust. Now, the trust has helped over 1 million young people since its inception in 1953. Princess Beatrice has also been seen out with her new boyfriend, her love interest, her beau, Edoardo Mosey. I'm not quite sure how you say it. It's Italian. Anyway, I'm going to call him Edoardo. So they have been dating since October 2018. And they were seen out. They attended the same event as Catherine, which was the National Portrait Gallery Gala. And she was wearing, I do have some information on what she was wearing, which is very unlike me. Anyway, she wore a red ruffled midi sheer dress by Alea, A-L-A-I. I think that's how you say it. And apparently it cost £5,660. How trivial. And she was wearing a pair of Jimmy Choo shoes. And she was carrying a black clutch. For those of you who were interested. So it's the first, well, maybe the second time that she's been seen out in public with Edoardo, who looks rather dashing, I have to say. Who also, I mean, lots of talk about his previous relationship. But anyway, they look quite happy as a couple, so good luck to them. I'm going to give them a fan flap. Princess Beatrice gets a yellow fan flap for me. You go, girl. You get your man and go. Okay. Model Twiggy from the 60s. Do you remember Twiggy from the 60s? Was she big in America? I don't know. But Twiggy was dressed in a lovely creme ensemble today when she was given a damehood by Prince Charles, which is kind of like the female equivalent of a knighthood, damehood. So she's now Dame Twiggy. Wow, which I thought was lovely. And she did look stunning in her lovely creme ensemble. Very lovely indeed. Also, The Crown, the TV programme, the Netflix drama, is looking for a Diana. So, if you have all the qualities that it takes to be a Diana, and there was a big, huge list, I have to say, there is an advert out to be Diana. So they're looking for a really talented actress who can portray Diana's full range of emotions that obviously she experienced throughout that period in her life. And I think that's going to be in, not this upcoming series, but I think it's going to be in the next one. So I think this is for next time. So they are looking for a Diana. You heard it here first. Oh, lots of people commenting on Twiggy. Elaine says, oh, Beatrice's boyfriend is very handsome. He is indeed. Annette says, can we have a Parliament Pomp and Circumstance protocol session? I watched on the BBC and was so confused by traditions. They can be confusing. Maybe we shall. Coffee or Tea says, Twiggy was big in a minute. Well, thank goodness you know about her. But yes, she's had a damehood, which I think is lovely. Good on you, Twiggy. PJR says, and it looked awful on Beatrice. Would like to see a fashion person get a hold of her and get her sharpened up. I don't... Okay, it's probably a bit like Marmite. If you don't know what Marmite is, it's a thing you spread on bread or toast or crackers. People either love it or hate it. So we say in the UK, something's like Marmite. Either you love it or you hate it. Maybe it's a bit like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. Did you miss the good stuff? Yes. Rhonda says, yes, Twiggy was very big here in the US in the 60s. Well, she's still very skinny. She's still a skinny legend, let's put it that way. Let's have a look. Live, Love and Laugh says, I'm sure these royal household splits have happened in the past. Wonder how people reacted to them. Again, yes, you know, there is changes of household with marriages and all kinds of different things. Changes of titles, all the rest of it. Sylvia says, remember Twiggy very well. She was huge in the US, used to make up my eyes like Twiggy when you were 14. Oh, I wanted to read, before I go, some upcoming engagements. So the Duke of Cambridge on the 16th of March is going to open Brains Brewery. And after that, he will attend the Wales versus Ireland Six Nations rugby game in his capacity as patron of the Welsh Rugby Union. That was a mouthful. Then on the 17th of March, which is a Sunday, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge will visit or be a part of the 1st Battalion Irish Guards for the St Patrick's Day Parade. So they will attend the St Patrick's Day Parade on the 17th of March, which is a Sunday. Then the Duchess of Cambridge on the 19th of March is going to attend the Foundling Museum. And it's all about art and how it is used to make a positive contribution to the vulnerable, marginalised young people. So we'll see what that one is all about. I'm intrigued by that one. I really want to know what she's up to with there and what the cause is all about. So we'll see what happens with that one. On the 20th of March, the Duke of Sussex is going to St Vincent's Action. It's to do with school children, and it's in conjunction with the Woodlands Trust. And I think they're going to be planting trees as part of the Queen's Canopy project, which obviously is planting trees all over the Commonwealth. So again, it's that Commonwealth link. Oh, don't mention. Who's mentioning avocado? Michelle says, Beatrice in the velvet dress. It was interesting mix with the black tights. Marmite. I think it's like a Marmite dress. H.A. Rag says, Marmite isn't the same as marmalade. Oh, it's totally different. No, do not have Marmite if you're thinking it's marmalade. Marmite is like a brown, treacly type thing. Yeah. Google Marmite. So, I think I'm going to go now. We've kind of spoken all what we know so far about the household separation, the move to Buckingham Palace. If anything comes up in the meantime, if I have any further thoughts on it, I may update somehow. So stay tuned. But I think we're done for now. So if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and also hit that notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. Also, how many's watching? 576. Right, we need to get me to 1,000 subscribers on my second channel, Elliot's British Life, and I will type it in here so that you know what to type. Okay, so Elliot's British Life. Please go and subscribe, because once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I have full access to all the different features, which is like what I've got on this channel, on my second one, and it's really annoying me that I haven't got access to certain things. So, please get me up to 1,000 subscribers. So, there are some videos on there, older videos, which you may be interested in. Do go and check them out. I will be posting new stuff as well. So, as I said, please hit the notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video, and please subscribe to this channel and my second one. So for now, unless we have any other